I recently got a job where I was tasked with making a short from a 1 hour presentation, regular presentation, that I didn't really have that much interest in watching the whole hour. And nor did my client have any interest in paying me to watch that whole hour. Normally I would ask the client, go ahead, you watch it, you pick out the parts that you want me to make the shorts out of, and I'll do it. This time, however, knowing that my client was really busy, I decided to try something new, and I thought I'd share it with you. Now, this is the studio version of Resolve because we're using some of the AI tools that are only available in the studio version. I'm also using an external AI tool, NotebookLM from Google. And I'll explain a little bit more why I chose that one as we go through it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the file, the movie file, not a timeline, although you kind of can. Movie file is better. And we're going to transcribe it, which is this button here. And you can see I've already transcribed it. If you haven't, it will take a minute or 2 or 5, depending on how long your file is, and it comes up with the text. Now, I could go through this and find the bits and pieces myself, but instead, I'm going to export it to a text file. There we go. Now, we have it here. This is the transcript of our movie. But I'm not going back to Resolve yet. Instead, I'm going to take it to NotebookLM. And now this AI gets around some of the problems with AI being sort of making things up and hallucinating by only looking at the resources you give it. They're called sources. So I'm going to add a source. I'm going to upload a file. I'm going to add the test transcription that I did. And you can see it comes up, if you click on it, it comes up with a summary of what the whole thing is about. Now from here, I'm no longer demonstrating how to do it because I've already done it. The nature of AI is that it'll give you different answers every time. For ease of recording, I'm going to look at a transcription that I did before. So having only the transcription selected that I wanted to look at, I asked the AI, what is the most moving, interesting main point of the presentation in this source? And it gave me an answer. If you're really in a hurry, you don't even need to read it. I suggest you do. So then I said, great, make me a 60-second cut that is the most interesting way to demonstrate this point allowed by this footage. And here it gives me the community voice, a 60-second cut from my footage. I'm going to copy that, go back to my folder, and I'm going to make a new text file. And we'll call this script short. Then we open up that script, we paste in the copy that we made from Notebook, save it, then we head back to Resolve, and using the file now, not a timeline, this is why we did this work on the file, we're going to go to AI Tools, create timeline using Intelliscript, and we're going to grab this script that we just made. There you have it. It just made a cut of what the AI thought was the most cohesive message in that footage. Now, it might not be the most cohesive footage. We're working in a hurry. I don't know if this is the best cut or not. What I do know is that it's an acceptable one. The argument could be made that I could have made a career out of telling your story wrong. What I would like to propose is that video storytelling needs to be as much a community skill now as the other skills that a community has. That community knows how to survive. Okay, so I can already tell this has the classic Intelliscript. It hasn't really put the cuts in the right places. It's close enough though. So I'm going to use a D key here to enable this second take and hear what it has to say. Community has. There is a community knowledge of how to throw a party. Okay, that actually is probably important. We'll go back to the other one. That community knows how to survive without a house, without electricity, without running water. That's built into the Sunday party endeavor. The cuts aren't correct, but what I'm going to do is grab all of this, make room for the second cut, secondary cut, move that down into the main timeline and enable it. So now we have a little bit more cohesive of a message. We're past 60 seconds though, so we're going to have to cut something out. as the other skills that a community has. There is a community knowledge of how to throw a party. That community knows. Okay, I'm just gonna put this in trim mode, and trim mode lets me very easily move around the cuts. Your story wrong. What I would like. So wrong gets cut off there, so I'm gonna zoom in, grab this side, and just spread it out. You see how when I'm in trim mode, it will move everything else. If I'm accidentally in regular mode, it'll cover up the next one. But I don't want to do that. So I'm going to leave this in trim mode for a bit. That I could have made a career out of telling your story wrong. What I would like to propose is that video. We'll check the next one here. That a community has. There is a community knowledge of how to throw a party. That community. That's too quick, so we're going to give that a little bit of room too. A party. That community knows how to survive without a house, without electricity, without running water. That's built into the Sunday party. Endeavor. Okay, party gets cut off, so we'll cut that out. Endeavor, video making, is suggested as a community resource or something that should become as much a tradition as any other part of the community. I like that, but endeavor seems out of place. I'm going to try cutting that out. Endeavor, video. Endeavor. Right? A Sunday party. Video making is suggested as a community resource or something that should become as much a tradition as any other part of the community. All right, we're going to cut it there. I know the next part here is about Indigenous people taking any tool that works, regardless of tradition, unless it conflicts with their tradition. But look at Indigenous communities around the world. I don't think that's necessary for the audience that might be seeing this as a short. It was necessary for the audience live as a group of Indigenous scientists. The tradition as any other part of the community. All right, we'll go ahead and cut that. I think I got the breath in there. I'm going to take that out. Then, since we're in trim, then I'm going to just delete the rest of that. I hit the delete key so it ripple deletes and takes up the space. Video making is suggesting the other part of the community. Everybody has one of these days. This is where we can start. So we can start with the phone. But with this shot, the phone's out of frame. So I'm just going to get rid of that. Part of the community. So if your community is telling your own story, then you have control over the messaging. That is the power of video storytelling as it is now. The good work that... Okay, now gets cut off a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and stretch that out a tad. We have plenty of room now. And then this ending, as I recall, is a little, it's brief. It's not the right cut. Telling as it is now. The good work that we do. Otherwise, it's all bad news. Thanks, you guys. Aloha. Okay, aloha gets cut off, so we're going to stretch that out before it gets to the crowd shot. And then I'm going to back this up. Let's see. We have several seconds. Because if you listen to the clip here. The good work that we do. Otherwise. The good work that we do. It just comes out of nowhere. Let's see what's before that. Let's see if there's any more context. Let's see how that is. We need to make sure that people know what's happening. The good work that we do. Otherwise, it's all bad news. Thanks, you guys. Aloha. All right. And we're at 59:08. We did this in real time. It took minutes. I did not have to go through the 12-minute presentation. I didn't have to figure out which pieces I wanted to put where. The AI did that. Now, I did the work of making it actually work as an edit, because in my experience, Intelliscript isn't good enough at getting the cuts exactly right. That's kind of the finesse of editing is, does the cut go here or does it go there? And that little bit makes a big difference in emotional response and in the clarity of the video. So you may have noticed this is landscape, which is not what you would usually put out for a short. So I'm going to take our timeline here and duplicate it. And I'm going to rename script short copy to vertical. Then I'm going to go into timeline settings. Now this is usually set to use project settings, so all your controls are grayed out. I'm going to uncheck use project settings, and then I'm going to use a vertical resolution. Hit OK. We'll open up that timeline. You can see here that we have a vertical timeline, and of course it is completely wrong. Now there's a couple of things you can do to reframe this, and that is to use your inspector here and one by one go through and reposition I could have made a career so that you're looking at the part of the frame that works. But we're also going to use another AI tool, which is AI Smart Reframe. So I've selected the entire timeline, and I'm going to make this pan only because I just wanted to move the window, the vertical window, to the part of the frame that is relevant. And we'll hit reframe. And that's that. However, again, it's not always right. So you really have to check it. Like this one, wow, that's great. You just sort of, it apparently decided that, all right, so it's AI, right? It's not flawless. So what I'm going to do is undo the, with this one file selected, I'm going to undo the auto reframe by resetting the transform. And this one I will do manually. Yeah, there you go. That's about right. So let's watch the rest.
A community knowledge of how to throw.
So this auto reframe is following me a little bit. I like that. That's fine.
That community knows how to survive without a house, without electricity, without running water. That's built into the Sunday party. Video making.
Okay, that all looks fine. Now this wide shot moving around,
community is telling your own story. Then
I don't think that's necessary. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the transform and move that over myself. That way that shot's going to stay still. It doesn't have to follow me in the frame. I'm not moving out of the frame. And having the wide shot move like that is distracting to me.
We need to make sure that people know what's happening, the good work that we do. Otherwise, it's all bad news. Thanks, you guys. Aloha.
So there we have it. A short in a vertical frame, extracted from a very boring conference that I mean, this was like a 6-hour day that I just pulled this 12-minute session out of. That is incredibly fast work, especially if you don't know what the point of the presentation is. So if you're just getting something raw, you can use AI to help get you into it. The AI tools inside of Resolve, and in this case, NotebookLM. Now, I did try it with Claude, which I have a subscription to. I've been playing around with it for a few months to see how it can help with certain workflow things. And it took a lot longer to get me a good result. Notebook just gave it to me right away. And if you have a Google or a Gmail account, you have a NotebookLM account as well. Just log in with that. Play around with it. I'm ambivalent about generative AI, large language models, and the amount of work they are offloading for us. So I've been looking for ways to leverage it so that we can actually benefit as a company, but not become so dependent on it that we can't function without it. And this is one of the workflows that I really enjoyed, and so did my clients. Thanks for coming along. Hope that was helpful. Catch you later.